Sorry, I'm just watching my cat on the decking. Can't tell if he wants to come back in or not, so... No, he's gone back into his house. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I am back with another tea talk. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, mainly because I just haven't really known what to talk about, and I don't want to like talk about a subject that I'm either not that passionate about or I don't feel like I have a lot to say on. I did try and film one a few weeks ago, but it just didn't click and I didn't like the footage, so I ended up completely deleting the video. I just didn't think it flowed right, and I didn't think you could really get much from it as a viewer, so that's why I didn't put it up. So today I'm filming a tea talk about mindfulness, because it's something that it was an idea that I wrote down a long time ago, but now I've kind of got a little bit more of an understanding of kind of like mindfulness and things that you need to do to like take time for yourself. And I've really come to the realisation that it is important to take time for yourself sometimes, even if you're worried about like what your friends might think, that you're not like socialising enough and all this kind of stuff. It's really important, especially for like your mental health and just well-being in general. Like, it's good to have some time on your own sometimes, and I've kind of realised that over this like last term of being at school and stuff. So yeah, so I just thought I'd film a little tea talk about it. I'm obviously in a different setting. I am at home. This is my living room. Welcome. We've got some nice flowers in the background. I've got a tea in a different mug because, you know, I can never film this. Oh, 1 minute. Kind of looks like this would be quite a nice shape for a vase. Kind of looks like they're in the mug. So whenever I do tea talks, I always like to have my book with me and my notes. Again, I'm still using the same little book that I started my channel with. So yeah, I've just written down a few little things that I think are really, really important, just for general well-being, stuff like that. And if you have any ideas actually for like future tea talks and stuff, please comment them down below, because they're my favourite videos to film, but I sometimes struggle with what I want to talk about. So if there's anything you want me to talk about, please let me know down below. And if there's any future video ideas that you really want me to do, then let me know. I will be doing another drama school diary very soon, because obviously I have now finished my second term, so that will be coming soon, and I've got quite a lot of vlogs over this Easter break, so that'll be quite nice. So let me know if there's anything you want me to do. Oh, the lighting keeps changing. So the first kind of thing that I've written down, which I've already mentioned, is taking time for yourself, which I think is so important. I've kind of got into the habit now of having like one night a week where I just kind of shut myself off and I go into my room and I either read a book, watch a film, just listen to music. Even if I'm just hiding in my room, I just kind of have like one night a week where I just spend it with me, myself and I, and maybe I'll like write in like my diary or something, I don't know. I just kind of do whatever I want to do, and I think it's really important, because especially if you're at uni or you are living with people or you're constantly around people, because I didn't really have that when I was here at home for the like last 2 years on like gap years. I didn't really experience that, because a lot of my friends, I would have to arrange to see them, and I'd only really see them on weekends, and then I just live with my family during the week obviously, so I wouldn't really like be surrounded by friends constantly. So I didn't really experience that. I had a lot of me time, so I didn't really realise how important it was until kind of like this term, just because this second term has been like a really, really intense term for work, and we've had a lot to do. I just found that having a night a week to myself is actually really important, and it's quite beneficial for me, and it's just nice to just kind of switch off and not be surrounded by people, because like even if I go into my kitchen to like make a tea, I'll probably bump into like 3 flatmates, which isn't like a bad thing. I love the people I live with, I have great friends, it's nothing like that, it's nothing on them. It's just that when you're constantly surrounded by people, like when you go to school, when you walk there, when you're at, like, I call it school, I know it's like university, but it's drama school as well, so I'm just going to call it school. Like before, when I was in my gap year and stuff, I'd just be at work, then I'd come home, and then I would be on my own just with my family, so it wasn't really a problem. But now I'll go to school, which is a really long day, it's 9 till 6 typically. Then I'll probably have some sort of rehearsal afterwards, or I'll have loads of work to do, possibly group work, like I say, like rehearsal or something like that. Gotta meet with them. Then I'll come home, you know, I want to make dinner when I'm in the kitchen, like I say, all my flatmates there and stuff like this. Or I'll go to the gym or something, which I typically go and do with people. It's just a lot of time with people, and don't get me wrong, I love being social, and I love the fact that I have got such an amazing group of people with me while I'm there, but at the same time, it's nice to have your own space sometimes. It's important, and I think that's something that I've really realised over this last term, how important it actually is to have just a little bit of time on my own. So I just have one night a week, like even if I've been cooking my dinner and stuff like that, and I'm just in my room from like 8 o'clock at night onwards, like even if it's just literally 2 hours before I go to bed, or 3 or something, it's just nice to have that little break. Just that little break is really beneficial. Good tea. I've not really mentioned it before, but basically I do suffer a little bit with anxiety sometimes, and this term has been a real test for me. And that's when I've also come to the realisation that having a night to myself and just switching off and having that time to reflect and just be by myself is actually so beneficial, and it's really helped me with getting over my little rough patch that I had, and I feel a lot better for it. So, you know, even if you aren't suffering with like anything like that, any sort of anxiety or anything, I still think it's so beneficial to have just that little time by yourself, because, you know, as much as I love people, I also do like my own space, and I think it's hard sometimes to find that, because I felt bad if I was having a night by myself, which happened to be a night that everyone would typically go out, because I was like, I'm letting my friends down. But at the end of the day, your friends, that was just me being silly, because my friends did not care. Like, they were fine. They didn't mind that I was missing out. Like, they didn't see me. They were like, oh, it's a shame that I'm not, like, I wasn't out and I wasn't with them, because I've not really been on many nights out this term. But like, they weren't mad at me, and I thought they were going to be mad at me, and I was like, kind of thinking all these things, and they weren't. They don't care. If they're good friends, they won't care. They'll just be like, okay, fair, she needs a bit of time to herself. It's a shame that she's not going to be there, but they're not bothered. And I think it's really important to not think about how it's going to affect others. You need to think that it's a good thing for you. So that's my first little tip. 2, I've also started this thing called like my good things diary. So basically I do have like a diary which I write random crap in just whenever I feel like it. It's not really something that I do religiously, but I recently got into the habit of writing down in this little book 2 good things that have happened to me every single day, because sometimes I would have days and I'd finish the day and I'd be at home and I'd just look back and be like, oh my god, it was such a crap day. And it's kind of like being in that negative mindset of like, well, this week's gonna be crap then. So instead of having that kind of mindset, I've started writing down, I just started with 2 good things a day. Like, it'd be something really simple, like my teacher liked a certain movement that I did in class. There we go. Someone complimented my new sports leggings. Like, it'd just be like the really small little things, or like one of my flatmates came in, typically it would be Matt, came in and just asked to make a cup of tea, and the cup of tea was cracking, because he's very good at making a tea. It's just little things like that, like they would literally be my good points, because sometimes I think we forget about the little things, and I think they're really important to focus on, because, you know, those little things really can make our day, and do, I believe. And I think it's nice to just note them down, because then you look back and you don't think about the bad things that day, you think about the good things. So it's nice now, because I've been doing it for, I must have been doing it for a few months now, so I've got like quite a lot to like look back on, which is nice. And it's also quite nice for like memories and things, to be honest. So I think that's a really good thing to do. I started off with 2 memories for like 3 weeks. So once I got into the habit of doing it at the end of at the end of the day in the evening, once I got into the habit of it, I upped it up to 3. And then I think now I try and do 3 or 4. But it's just nice, because even if you think you've had a crap day, there's always something good. There is always something good that has happened to you in that day, even if it's incredibly small, like someone making you a cup of tea. Literally, there's always something good that happens, even if it's small, and I think that's what we need to remember. So yeah, I think that's a really nice way of just being in more of a positive mindset. Number 3 is treat yourself. It's literally what I've written down, is treat yourself, spelt like, oh, you know what, I'll put it here, I'll write it here, treat yourself. Basically, I just think it's important sometimes to just literally treat yourself. Like, if like there's a top that you've wanted for ages, buy it. Like, if you feel like you've been working really hard, like I know I've worked so hard this term and I've put in so much time, and I'm really happy, because I know from getting my results back, I have done well, and I'm really happy with my results. Like last term I was a little bit disappointed, and I know I needed to up my game, especially regarding like essays and stuff. I needed to put more time into them, and I needed to plan them out and be more structured with how I approach my work. So I've taken that on board and I've put it into this term, and it has shown because I've got better results. I know that I've worked harder this term, and I know that I've pushed myself more. Oh, hello. My cat is here, but he's outside. Yeah, he's sitting in the window. I'm gonna let him in a minute. I'll finish my point first. But that's why, like yesterday, I took myself to Urban Outfitters. I just went out and I bought a few things. I got this top, I got a dress, and I got a new bralette. And like, I was really happy as well because it was all 50% off, so it was like really cheap. And then I got my student discount on top of it, mint. So yeah, like just little things like that made me so happy. Just to be like, you know what, I deserve to like treat myself a little bit. It's not like you have to go on a massive splurge, you have to spend hundreds of pounds, even if it's literally just like a lipstick you've wanted that's from like blooming MUA and costs like £3. Like, just treat yourself sometimes. Or even if it's just like a certain meal that you've really fancied, like you really want a Bill's halloumi burger, just make it at home or go to Bill's. Like, just little things like that I think really make a difference, because occasionally we need to treat ourselves when we've done well, and it can be like a really simple thing, like a film that you've really wanted to watch for ages. It can be like buying yourself a new t-shirt, a new lipstick, or like having a certain meal that you've craved for ages. Like, it's important to treat yourself and give yourself like just little things, just little treats sometimes. Like, you don't have to treat yourself every day, but you know, just little things I think really do help. And I think that's just a really nice way to reward yourself for working hard. If you've done well, you deserve more than a pat on the back, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And he's back. I think he's just hungry. Okay, so I think I'm on to number 4, which is basically I got into the habit as well. On Sundays I would plan out my week, and I have like a little weekly planner thing which I don't have with me, but it's basically, you can buy them on Amazon and stuff like that. I think mine's by like a random, mine's like from a company. It just basically has Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You could even, to be honest, have a piece of like just a plain piece of paper like this, and you could just put Monday, Tuesday and just like draw it out. But I just really like mine because it's like pretty and it's already done for me. But yeah, so basically I just used to get into the habit on a Sunday, sitting down, planning out my week, writing out my timetable, because that's when we got sent our timetables, usually on like maybe Friday or Saturday or something. But on Sunday I would sit down, write out all my lessons, write out my rehearsal schedule. When I was going to the gym, I'd just plan out my time so I knew what time I had for work, which is really helpful, especially with essay and stuff. And then I also have a little to-do square on it as well, so I'd write that out. And then I would usually have I also have a whiteboard where I would write out what I need to do and what days I need to do it by. So just planning out your week and knowing what time you have for what tasks and stuff like that is really helpful, because it means that if something gets in your way as well, because I remember like for example, I'd have my voice assessment on Thursday, so I would need to practice and make sure that I'm prepared for that. So I'd need to go over it definitely the night before, but I would need to go over it like at little points in the week. However, if my main time I'd booked in for that was like Monday, but then all of a sudden I had a rehearsal, I would still have a second slot for it. And I think that's important to always put in like work stuff twice almost, so then if something falls through and there's a reason you can't do it, or you end up spending more time on something, you're not stressed about it because you also have some other time. So trying to plan like that was really helpful, and I definitely recommend it, because it just means you're organised in your mind. So if anything kind of happens and a curveball comes and all of a sudden you're given like another piece of homework that you weren't expecting, then you're sorted, you're covered, and it's fine. And I think that is like it's just a good thing to do, to feel organised and to feel like you're prepared for your week. And I found that to be a really helpful little tool as well. And 5, to remember to do things for yourself and no one else. Like, this kind of goes back to almost like the night by yourself thing, because obviously for a while I felt really bad, because usually I would have like, I got into the habit of having Fridays to myself and not going out. and typically a lot of people would go out on a Friday and I wasn't really going out much, mainly because I didn't really want to. I kind of just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't in the mindset where I wanted to go out and like drink. I didn't want to drink, and I really didn't want to go out on Fridays because there's a certain club basically that's free on a Friday and in Southend, and I feel like I've been so many times that I'm over it. I'm kind of over the music that they play, and it's really annoying, and I'd much rather spend £5 on a Saturday to go to a different place which I know has good music. I've just gotten to that point where I just don't want to, I just know the music's gonna be rubbish, and yeah, it's just effort, and I don't know, the last few nights I've had there have just been a little bit pants because the music hasn't been very good. So I just kind of started having Fridays by myself, which ended up being like really nice and really therapeutic for me. Like, I would just make a really nice meal that I really wanted to have all week, because Friday evenings I kind of wrote off as no homework, because I would wake up early on a Saturday and have the whole Saturday. And that was another thing, if I went out on the Friday, then waking up on the Saturday would be a bit of a struggle and I wouldn't get as much work done. Whereas if I stayed in on the Friday and I just like chilled out, had a really nice evening, watched like a film and had some nice dinner and went to bed at a reasonable time, then I could get so much done on a Saturday that I didn't have to do anything on Sunday. And that was kind of how my weekends went, and I really got into like a nice habit of that. And like, obviously I was worried that like my friends would get annoyed, and they didn't at all, but like, I think it's important to not think like that, is to not think that, oh, what if these people get annoyed, so what? Like, you have to do things for yourself sometimes, and I just think it's important to sometimes be selfish, because just with things like this, like, you don't, not in like loads of different situations, because I don't think being selfish is the way forward. I just think for certain times to be selfish, do things for yourself, treat yourself and have some time for you is so important. And it's made me just be a lot more chilled out about things, and yeah, it's definitely something that I think is important, and that's why I want to talk about it with you guys today. So yeah, that's my little tea talk for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I feel like this is more relaxed. This is more of a relaxed tea talk. I don't know whether it's because I'm sitting on the floor and I'm still in my joggers, and I don't know, it just feels really chilled out. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and thank you. Oh, I just want to say, yeah, as well, thank you so much for your support on my wandering video. If you've not seen it, I'll link it down below. It's basically my first ever kind of like, I don't know, more creative video. It's kind of like a spoken word piece. I've had it written since like July last year, which is why I have been banging on about it for a while in my videos. But it's something that I've wanted to film and do for a really long time, and there's a few others that I've got in store that I would love to share with you guys, because you have been really supportive with this one. And I've noticed that, you know, we've got a few new subscribers and more thumbs up and comments than I've had before, so that's really nice. So I just want to say thank you, because it's really nice to know that it's not just a pile of crap that I've written in a notebook, so it's always good to know. But thank you so much, and I shall see you soon for another video. Sorry, it just cut out, but I was basically saying, if you have any ideas, let me know, give me a thumbs up on this if you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you very soon for another video. Love you lots. Bye.